that is recording. Hello, this is Jon Cooper, and I'm James, your interviewer today. We getting ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do this. Watch us started. All right, so this is our fourth installment now of 10 interviews slash now called High Five. It's more of a 5-mile run now. We found that 10Ks being a little bit too long as a video, so we're going to be doing a 5-mile run around here. Jon Cooper here is going to be showing us around. I do not know where we're going, but hopefully you'll know where we're going here, Jon.
Yeah, this is my usual haunt, up around these roads and up onto Wadsley and Loxley Common, which is sort of a local area of woodland and open access land with great views out over to Peak District. So yeah, one of my favourites.
It looks good so far. He did warn me ahead of time. There is a fair amount of just straight up. So if you do get a bit breathless at the beginning, it's not so much that we're out of shape, but just the uphillness of it all.
Yeah, you can probably feel it already.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of have to be used to hills.
Absolutely.
If you're in Sheffield, it's
yeah, definitely
one of the hillier cities in the UK.
Yep.
But that's kind of what makes the view so much more spectacular, I think.
Absolutely. One of the things I most like about Sheffield generally, we're going up here by the way.
Oh, sure.
And this area particularly is you can be in a residential area like this, and then a few minutes later you can be out in the countryside with some views. And you know, we've got plenty of spectacular views on our doorstep, a short drive away, but there's plenty right on our doorstep that's in its own way equally special. And I think one of the things for me that's most important about running is having the space to relax and unwind in a rural setting. For me, that's going up here, by the way. Sorry.
Thanks,
really
I don't know where
job.
I'm going. It's tough to kind of discuss your passions at the same time.
Yeah, we're going to hang left here.
Okay, great stuff.
Yeah.
So do you find you do your I certainly notice a lot, you're very active on Strava. I find you do a lot of running.
Yeah.
On the regular, I would say close to daily.
Yeah, probably not far off. Probably, and if I were not training for anything in particular, I would routinely run 5 times a week. Perhaps when I've been training for marathons, we're going up here by the way.
Great stuff.
Probably pretty much every day, with the occasional day off. So yeah, I'd say 5 days a week would be my standard. 5 or 6 days a week, varying in length.
And varied also in technicality, I guess.
Yeah, I like to get
hills and tempo, and
yeah, I try to get as much variation as I can. I mean, I've got more of a natural affinity for quiet country roads, I guess. That's my favourite sort of terrain. Although I do love trail, obviously. I try to avoid sort of urban or inner city runs.
They're not as exciting, a bit more congested.
Yeah. So like I say, I like to be out where it's peaceful. I was thinking earlier on about what I'd say about this. So I was reading a book recently about, it's called Shinrin Yoku, which is the Japanese for forest bathing. And the Japanese have this concept of how, which is what basically everyone knows inherently, which is spending time in nature, or specifically forests in this case, is beneficial, lowers anxiety and stress. And they prescribe it in Japan for relief of stress, and also for a range of different physical complaints, as well as mental. And when I was reading that book, a lot of the ideas in there tied in with what I feel about running as a means of de-stressing and headspace to put things in perspective from everyday life. And I used to run a lot with headphones in and listen to music, but now I don't really do that anymore. I just listen to what's happening out there, which is one of the reasons I prefer to run rurally, because obviously there's far less traffic noise, industrial noise,
and the beautiful wild sounds of birds and
exactly,
the wind, and
exactly.
It's very calming, I agree. I say that while I'm wearing headphones around my neck, of course.
Oh, there's absolutely a place for. I mean, I'm a massive music fan, and like I say, I listen to music a lot of the time when I'm not running as well. So there's absolutely a place for that too. I know a lot of people like podcasts too while they're running.
Yeah, because they've got a nice sort of length to podcasts,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Up, sorry. Yeah, the general rule is up for,
Up, just keep going up. Got it. Got
for the
it.
next short amount of time anyway.
Because you seem quite learned yourself. So I would imagine you probably listen to a lot of podcasts, John.
I do. Not well. Something I've only got into recently, and not really running podcasts. I mean, people suggest them all the time, and I do occasionally dip into those. I mean, if I want to learn about running, I tend to go to a book.
Yeah.
Because I just love reading. But the podcasts I tend to listen to are either music related or I like mindfulness or meditation podcasts to help me unwind.
Yeah.
So it tends to be those kind of things that I would listen to.
Do you have any recommendations?
Well, the BBC actually did a quite good, quite accessible mindfulness and meditation and music podcast series recently for people who are just left. Sorry, getting in. It's on BBC Sounds. That was quite interesting as a sort of introduction to meditation.
Okay.
There are a couple of others that I listen to. Can't remember what they're called though now. But there's loads if you search for mindfulness or guided meditation podcasts on wherever you get podcasts from. Yeah, but they're very important for just to unwind and after work and yeah.
And like you say, like running is great because you can kind of just switch off and go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's always that chemical sort of the endorphins associated with a run, and I always find that I feel 10 times more positive after a run than I do before it. So that's a huge aspect of running for me too, as well as wanting to keep fit and compete and make friends. All those reasons are really important too.
Yeah. But I think you're right, mental health, we talked a lot about that with Andrew Woofenden on the last interview actually.
Yeah.
And what a difference it makes. And it is a great way to clear your head and unwind.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself doing other sort of relaxation? What other hobbies do you do to kind of break away from your stressful life? Is there a stress in your life?
Oh, huge. Well, like everyone. Work. I'm a teacher full time, and I've got 3 teenage children as well.
That'll be stress.
So most people will be familiar with one or both of those stresses. So yeah, the usual stresses of life. To my hobbies, other than running, as I've alluded to, I mean, I read a lot. I'm really interested in travel, American history.
Oh yeah.
Native American history, Native American art. Anything that sort of, any book that transports me as like an armchair traveller or back in time to that era. I'm really interested in those, and I do like drawing as well when I get chance. If I have the headspace and I feel relaxed enough, I do like to sit and do a bit of art.
What type of art? Like landscape or portraits or?
Yeah, I do quite a bit in pencil, sort of pencil sketching, more traditional stuff, but at the moment I'm more into pen and ink drawing based on or inspired by ethnic art from around the world.
Okay, cool.
I particularly like Native American tribal designs, Australian Aboriginal.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Māori designs from New Zealand.
Yes, well, I've got several Maori or South Pacific Island inspired tattoos. That sort of thing.
That would have been another thing to kind of touch up upon.
Yeah. So I'm into art, music, and I listen to a lot of music. And I used to play. I mean, I do still play the guitar, nowhere near as much as I used to. But that's listening to music more is something that I enjoy as well, and just generally the outdoors, walking.
You do some
camping.
very large hikes actually quite regularly as well.
Yeah.
Usually with the family.
Well, that's something
usually with a few hours.
We felt that was very important, right from. Our children are very close together in age, And right from the moment they could walk, we made them walk. So by the time they were all 5, we'd done all of the Yorkshire Three Peaks. We'd done, you know, we've done Scarfell and plenty in the Lake District.
As a family.
As a family,
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
And that's been beneficial because my kids are sporty. You know, they've grown up without that fear of competition or engaging with sport and keeping fit. So I'm really pleased with that. And a large part of that is just engaging with the outdoors from an early age.
I mean, that you've touched upon another big subject there. Those who may know Jon Cooper's family, quite successful runners. Both your kids in the Hallamshire Harriers.
Yeah, I've now been relegated to 3rd best runner in the Cooper family. Yeah,
does your wife also run?
She does. Yeah, she's a member of Hillsborough Rivelin, but she doesn't engage as much as I do.
I see.
She's recently retrained in her career as well, so running's been on the back burner for her for a couple of years now. So I'm sure in the future she will
be back on the forefront again.
Yeah. She did the Perceptive last year and did well. So yeah.
I think you won't be able to help it if you're in a family like that.
Well, yeah, she's got to engage with it a certain amount, I guess. Yeah.
I know Jon Cooper has been already asked to join the Hillsborough Rivelin Running Club. Yeah, a bit less keen.
I think Andy's been ambitiously tapping him for a little bit, light-heartedly. But he's happy doing what he's doing.
But also, you don't see many, actually, if any, we don't really have any junior members in our Hillsborough Rivelin Running Club.
I'm not sure whether, I don't know, well, I'm certainly none that I've seen. Yeah, well, maybe that's something for the club to look at in the future, maybe. It does tend to, it leads me on to why, one of the reasons that I was kind of attracted to this club, not because there are no children.
Hooray, freedom! I'm a teacher, I don't want any more kids around.
Yeah, exactly. The club, I mean, it's the age demographic feels more like it's people who are similar to me.
Sure.
And when I first heard about the club being set up, the idea of being involved in something very local with my community name in it really kind of resonated with me, because previously I was involved in another large club from the city. We're going left here.
Do you want to name that club? Name and shame them?
It was the very excellent Steel City Striders,
which a vast majority of our runners seem to have come from.
Yeah, and have absolutely nothing against at all.
I know.
Just to clarify, a really good club.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Very big, and the idea of being part of something smaller that I could be in from the outset and contribute to was very important. And I feel like since joining the club I've made way more running friends, and part of that is because the demographic is closer to my own, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in a similar position to me. We're going to cross the road here, so
it's one of our first roads here, guys. Had to just be a bit careful.
Yeah, we're okay. So yeah, that's, and also during the first lockdown we had 2020, when the club kind of first came to fruition, some of the challenges that we're going to bear to the left here.
Just to the left.
Yeah.
Hello.
That Andy Davies set up really provided a focus for me during a time when there was obviously very little else happening in terms of running competition or running at all.
Yeah, it really got shut down a lot, hasn't it? Like all clubs pretty much weren't doing a lot.
And Andy kind of, you know, organised quite a bit of stuff that really kept me motivated during that time, which I really appreciated. So yeah, this is one of the other reasons that I was attracted to the club. Yeah, we're just hanging across the grass here.
Just left way, nice.
So we've got this nice open area next to hole number 7 of Hillsborough Golf Course.
We'll do a little swoop around. This is a beautiful, nice field actually.
What I really like about this being up here is, in a minute, if you just open up to Derwent Edge. It's a great run to come and do either very early or very late, because you're either at sunset or sunrise.
Sure.
And it really kind of lights up the Bradfield Valley.
This grass is nice on my knees too.
Yeah,
Gosh.
nice bit of spongy grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just that this is a run that I often come and do at the end of a long day at school, and if I've got half an hour to come and do something, I just run out up here, and you can either do it as an easy jog, or if you want to do a bit of variation on there, I often, you know, go put the hill we just ran up, do that as an effort, and then a really fast effort on the second half back downhill. There's lots, you know, there's a bit of variation depending on how you feel
And how
what you can do with this
sure.
run. Yeah, we're just gonna go straight through these woods
All right.
in a minute.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I think another good thing for you, John, is joining the running club.
Yeah.
Gave you the opportunity to be one of the coaches for us.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did forget about that. Oh yeah, one of our coaches at Trek is Mr. Jon Cooper here, along with Simon Bennett, who we interviewed last week. How did that come about?
Well, I mean, again, a while ago, there was an informal Thursday night group at Hillsborough Park with a focus on strength and speed, and a few people made that their regular session because it coincided with Hal and Harry's juniors training there at the same time. So for those people who've got kids involved in that group, or other reasons, it was a convenient time to be doing a strength and speed group.
Oh, that's right, you were doing those hill sessions. That's right, I attended a few of those. They were great.
Yeah, I mean, that just evolved into, over time, a second track night, when obviously the Tuesday track night proved very popular, and so it was decided to create a second track night.
Of course.
And obviously this
I completely forgot that you were running that thing. That was fantastic, the strength and conditioning there.
It's a good little group. But obviously there's only so much you can do in Hillsborough Park, and it was at a time when they obviously were doing a lot of work in the park, resurfacing paths, etc. So it was more convenient to relocate that up to Chaucer Track. So, and Andy asked me if I would just do the same thing but lead it up at the track instead. So that's how that came about.
Did you find it difficult? Was the transition particularly difficult, or do you find it's generally the same sort of idea? Stretches, warm-ups?
Yeah, similar sort of format to the session. So start with some drills, get warm, do the main session, have a cool down. I guess it's a bit more formalised up at the track because, you know, well, there's only so much you can do on a track. Just vary the length of the reps.
Yeah.
Whereas in the park, I might have tried to be more creative with the route,
or up and down a small hill,
or try and draw a funny pattern on Strava, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, the track is better because, you know, there's no risk of clashing with other people or you know, any dangers. So yeah.
Not getting stuff thrown at you by the little kids.
Yes, which has happened many times.
It is a very safe park, by the way, if anyone's thinking of visiting Hillsborough Park.
It's
lovely
park.
And it's actually, it's really improved in recent months, thanks to tram lines.
Yes.
Um,
We're almost at the point where we're going to get my favourite view in a moment. One of the things I like about running up this path is because it's sort of lined with the ferns and the granite rocks and the grouse butts, it feels like you're almost out on the moors, really wild and remote. You've actually just run from your house. So here is my favourite view across the valley, one of my favourites.
We'll do a very brief stop. I know this is cheating, guys.
Oh no, sorry, I didn't. I was not implying that we should stop.
But I am. I think it's a good thing to.
Yeah, I often just come up here and stand on the rock and just look out.
Right, actually the rock even gives a better view. I didn't even think about that. Bunch of sheep out.
Yeah.
It is stunning, isn't it, to think that this is just right here.
Yeah, and right up onto Derwent Edge you see the rock formations just above. So that end Derwent Edge goes on to Lady Bower Reservoirs.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
I can see why you chose this place. This is fantastic.
Yeah, ready when you are.
They're carrying on.
Yeah.
So you're quite local to Essex then?
Well, yes, I've lived here I've lived in Sheffield for 20 years or so now, but I'm not originally from Sheffield. I'm from Chesterfield, which is about 20 miles down the road.
Completely different. Well, technically it's a different county as well.
It is, yeah, it's North Derbyshire. Yes. So when I was a child, growing up in Chesterfield, both my parents were teachers, and they both taught in Sheffield, so I was always very familiar with it, but only as a place where we never went at the weekend, because that's where my parents were all the time in the week. So yeah.
So they didn't want to see any more of it.
Yeah. So yes. Yeah, I lived here about 20 years or so now.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, we're definitely getting people from all bits of the world.
Yep.
This way? Yep.
So we're going down, we're just going to go down here. So after having had the Peak District view, one of the other things I like about this run, as well as a nice fast flat road section here,
Yeah, it's great.
is you get a great view over Sheffield and South Yorkshire and beyond.
We won't stop this time, guys, but we will do another panorama, because
Yeah, so
John's right, it is very stunning out here. A couple of horses this time.
Yeah, field full of horses. Yeah, I often see some. But this time of day, if you're out late enough, you might get hares, barn owls swooping around. I've seen stoats
Oh, amazing.
running around up here. Pretty much all the British mammals.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, let's slow down.
I'm glad you managed to keep up with your running. You're quite a, I have to say, quite a phenomenal runner, even though you may not feel like it these days.
Well, yeah, I suppose it's all relative, and you've got to put things in context. Sometimes I look around the club and I think, you know, I'm a very average runner. We've got some great runners in our club and in Sheffield and beyond. And,
We do, yeah.
you know, it's all about your own context and improving against yourself. And you know, I actually really only took up running in the club in my mid-30s, and before that I just ran for fun and not competitively. And so I'm still improving and still.
That's the thing, the best is still to come. Best is still to come, and you've already done some amazing achievements.
Well,
can you give us a few of those?
Well, I probably my best achievement. Probably two spring to mind for running. One is last year I picked up the bronze in the South Yorkshire Cross Country League in the V40s, which was a surprise, and because it came off the back of having done a marathon, and I just thought I should do a few cross countries, you know, and I did relatively well. And
so that wasn't something that you were just joining up as part of the team. You weren't.
Yeah, I just did it to get some points for the team if I could, and so they turned out to be enjoyable, and I turned out to be all right at those. So that was a good achievement. I was proud of that.
That's a really good achievement.
And probably, I would say, I've done a few marathons. Manchester Marathon recently, I managed to dip under 2 hours 50 for the first time, which is what I've been aiming for. And
which is a great achievement, really. A sub 3 is one of those golden targets, eh?
Exactly, and I do find I'm proportionally better at longer or tricky terrain type running. You know, I guess that's probably being a bit older. You know, obviously there are people who are exceptions to the rule. Like Simon Bennett, who's my personal running hero. Who I think he is for
a few people. A few people have said that.
So I think it's not so much the achievement of actually doing those races. For me, the better achievement is actually completing the training block and fitting that in and being disciplined enough to have actually got to the start line in a position to be able to do it.
Because there's a lot of time you need to prepare for a marathon, and to prepare for a sub 3 marathon, no less. You need to give up a lot of your time and dedicate, sacrifice, kind of.
Yeah, and it's a hard balance to get, especially with children and a full-time job. You've got to be there's a lot of times when I didn't want to train and I didn't want to go out and do, particularly in the evenings, it was inconvenient, and to be quite frank, it would have been more helpful for the family to have not been training for a marathon.
Yeah.
But you know, but Beck and the kids recognise that that's important to me, and that's something that makes me happy and gives me a sense of achievement. So, you know, we have to compromise, obviously, and a lot of the time I fit training in around. We're going to carry on a short way to the side.
Jumping the gun.
Yeah, just fit it in around kids' activities. So a lot. For example, last night my training was on Monday evenings. I take one of my kids to their flute lesson, which is 5:30 till 6, and in that time I have to try and cram in some sort of run in that half an hour. We're going to put half an hour window. So I just do something in there, and then, you know, try and get the long runs in at the weekend, and they're the things that you have to
It's
really
the long
prioritise
runs, definitely, because
for the marathon.
that's a good 2-3 hours it can take out of you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 3-hour block of time. We're going to hang this left here where there's a footpath sign.
Great stuff.
So yeah, it's not so much the race, it's the commitment to the training block that's probably my best achievement. I think we're going to go down this path here.
Oh, fantastic. Into some more bushes.
This is going to be a bit. I don't know how easy this is going to be for you.
Why is that?
I think we'll go this way because you're holding the camera, and the terrain could be a bit rooty and rocky.
I've had worse.
We'll just take it steady.
I've had
I
worse.
don't want you to fall.
Simon Bennett gave me a tougher run, so don't worry.
Well, you would do.
So how much mileage would you say on average would you recommend for someone to be aiming for a sub 3?
Oh, well, that's interesting. Just follow this path down. We'll just, whichever one takes your fancy. Well, I mean, having done marathons before, I probably got up to 60, maybe 65 miles a week tops. But this time, for the Manchester one, I didn't go above 50.
Huh?
I protected the long run at the weekend, and I went up to maybe 21 miles on that. And then I guess I just focused more on quality, not quantity.
I was about to say, maybe that's more like training smarter. Oh, apologies. That left, got it. Switch hands. Would you say it's more training smarter then?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's partly age and time as well. I found that this time I was more successful off just being more careful about what I did on the long runs. So rather than just, I guess one of the main things I changed this time was rather than just ambling round a 21-mile run slowly, I built in increasingly longer blocks of marathon pace.
Sure.
Within that run.
Yeah, sure.
And then in the mid.
It's always a really good idea.
And midweek, I made a much better job of doing a longer tempo run, 11, 12 miles perhaps down here. Again, building in some blocks of marathon pace, target marathon pace. And then other than that, really it was just about doing some shorter, faster runs, or just whatever took my fancy really.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important rule of training for anything, is sometimes you just got to do what you fancy.
Yeah, you don't want it to get too boring because it can almost put you off, hey?
Yeah, you know, and linking back to what I was saying before about, I very rarely run, even on the long runs, I didn't run out around down to Meadowhall, or only a couple of times, because I just don't enjoy that kind of environment. So I would look for how I could get out and do a more rural run, even though that would build in a little bit more hill. But I think enjoyment is more important, particularly when you're going to be out for 3 hours and the weather's not great anyway. So yeah. But in answer to the question, how long would I do? You right?
Yeah, we're all good. No twisted ankles here, guys.
I would say you've got to get up to 50 miles a week.
Minimum.
Well, I'd say that was my maximum this time. But I also had the base of having done an autumn marathon. So I guess it depends on where you're coming from.
Whether it's your first one or your fifth one, or
and equally, I know people this time who did literally double my weekly mileage. I know a couple of people who, in the same age category as me, who did 100 miles a week routinely, and
actually I do too.
They were 2 or 3 minutes faster than me, to be fair.
Is it worth it for that extra? I guess some would say yes.
Well, yes. I mean, again, it depends on other circumstances. I mean, there's no way that I could have managed that time-wise or energy-wise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you can do that and you enjoy it, then yeah.
But also be very careful, because there is such a thing as overtraining.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, and you've got to balance in the right amount of rest with that. Yeah. And I remember talking to Dave Palmer about that, and he was sharing about how when he trained for his sub 2:30 marathon.
Yeah, Rotterdam.
And I think it was. And he'd done, he was doing 100 miles a week, but he was equally building in quality rest time during the day because he was able to at that point. Whereas that's not an option for your average 40-something runner, I guess.
Yeah.
Certainly not for me. School probably would have something to say about it.
Have you gone up? Sorry.
Doesn't matter, I'll just follow you. Just go where you want. Just take it steady down here. It is quite rooty and rocky, so.
Sorry about this, guys. It's I feel like we've gone single file here, which is the first time we've done this in an interview, but
yeah. I wasn't doing a very good job of telling you where to go, that's why.
no, well, it's just a little bit windy, but that's
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it though. It's nice to have that kind of variety though. We can go back in.
that's another reason why this is a good run, I guess. Sometimes I use this section of downhill to practice my downhill running technique for, for trail races or what have you. You've got to really concentrate.
Might be good for, are you doing the Warncliffe?
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
This might be good for you.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it for anyone going down who wants a bit of a technical run.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of that going on.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I think a marathon is a great achievement. It isn't for everyone.
No,
I think
no.
I've only done 2 myself, and I've quickly realized I'm not the biggest fan. And it's not just the time, it's just the actual marathon itself is quite painful, quite arduous, and the recovery from it takes so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It does. You don't realise actually. You think after a couple of days, I'm all right now. I should have a jog. Yeah, I'm okay. You don't realise the full impact of doing a marathon until a couple of weeks later actually. And if you get back into it too quickly or do too much too quickly, it can not be beneficial.
Almost be kind to yourself afterwards, and don't just say, right, it's 2 days. I haven't run for 2 days. I got to get right back into another half.
Which is difficult when running is important for you for other reasons, like you need it for your headspace or or just to get out and enjoy being outdoors. But you've got to balance that with actually recovering properly and preventing injury. So
Now, have you gotten yourself any major injuries or
back injury? I've had a couple of back injuries just by being tall, basically. Innocuous things like
long bones,
opening the dishwasher, and which one thing I've done to combat injury and sort of hip and knee pain generally has been to take up a lot more Pilates.
Yeah, I see you doing that a lot.
Work. I do a fair amount of that now.
Would you say like once a week, twice a week?
Yeah, I'd aim for at least once a week. I'll do some sort of strength and conditioning work at home, either just Pilates on a mat or some very gentle weights. Skipping, I do quite a bit of that.
Skipping?
Yeah, skipping. Just a variation, just a bit of
That's really
cardio
good.
at home. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the first person I've heard that does that. That's makes sense though.
Well, it's just anything that's a bit of variation, or if you can't get out, something. And I quite enjoy doing the Pilates.
Is that kind of just a self-taught thing, or did you do some classes first for that?
Mainly just off YouTube. Watched some YouTube videos and sort of constructed my own routine of the exercises that I thought most benefited me, and just do that myself now. Put a bit of music on. It's a good bit of variation from running, and it's definitely made a difference in terms of my flexibility and whether I get injured or not.
Yeah,
it's definitely helped. I mean, the longest long-term thing that I've ever had to recover from was about 4 years ago. So I had some routine brain surgery, which took me a while to recover from, and I lost sight in one eye for a while.
Do you want to discuss how that happened, or is it not something?
I had a condition called trigeminal neuralgia, which is it's just a searing nerve pain in your face.
Wow.
And you had to correct it. I've got a sponge embedded in under my skull on one side.
Amazing.
Which separates a nerve from something else. I can't even remember. But as a result of that, I lost sight in one eye for a while, and it faded back in gradually, but out of focus. So one eye was looking one way, and the other one, it didn't look like I was looking in different directions, but what I was seeing was pointing in a different direction.
Amazing.
And so I couldn't really...
Kind of terrifying, but amazing.
So to get back into running from that was quite difficult because I couldn't really see the ground in front of me properly.
So you were running at this time, you were already in...
Oh yeah, I was in a club. We're going to turn left down this hill in a moment.
Okay.
So it took me, and after that obviously I was at a point where I just had to walk for a while.
Wow.
With support at first and then gradually by myself, and then where we've just been was a place where I walked quite a bit as recovering from that.
Great place to walk though.
So that's also another reason why I really like Wadsley Common, because it's, it's a place that really helped me in recovering from that, as provided me with a place to go for a decent walk and a bit of challenge. Yeah, straight. Oh, hang on. Wait, we're back down to the. Sorry, I forgot. I was on automatic pilot for my house, which you're welcome to go to, but it's not where we started. So yeah, that took me a long time to recover from, to get back up to the point of being able to run properly again. And when I was kind of in hospital recovering from that, and I sort of first came to, and the first sort of 24 hours after that, I spent a lot of time thinking, if I felt like I would never be able to run again.
Yeah,
so I thought, if I ever can run again, I'll make sure that I'm going to put a real effort into it and focus and try and improve and do some, take it more seriously basically, which is something that I've done since. And I've actually done all my best performances in any distance have all been since that operation.
Wow.
Anyway, we're back where we started.
It's amazing how these things motivate. But we still got another K to go.
Have we? Oh, okay. Well,
so if you're happy, we'll...
let's just keep going then. We can...
We still got another... You can't get out of it that easily, John. Nice try.
I wasn't even looking at how we've done. I was
just enjoying the run.
Well, turn left down here then in that case.
Yeah, we got one more K to go.
Okay. That's fine. Well, these are all equally roads that I'm very familiar with because it's where I live down here,
So we are on a little bit of roads here, guys, but as you can see around us as well, there's still a lot of greenery, including Wadsley Church.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful, actually, church.
Sheffield's the greenest city in the UK.
Yeah.
I'm reliably told. So.
Which sometimes you don't see, especially when you go down to the centre.
Yeah.
And it just looks kind of very industrial and just, unfortunately, a little bit run down, like a lot of post-COVID cities have become.
Absolutely.
But you do head out from the city centre, and there's plenty of green spaces.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Lots and lots.
Yep, totally.
Can you name some other favourite runs that you've got?
Oh, me? Well, from here I love to run out to Warncliffe Woods, up onto Warncliffe Crags, that way. Let me think. And just again, like, just the country roads, we're going to turn left up here, we'll go up here.
Sure.
The country roads just above Bradfield in sort of this postcode, a lot of them were resurfaced really well when we had the Tour de Yorkshire. That's a few years ago.
Tour de Yorkshire, that's right. What is the Tour de Yorkshire? Can you explain to an outsider like myself?
Well, I'm presume everyone's heard of the Tour de France. They
famous.
Decided to have 2 stages of that through England. A few years, well, it's probably getting off 7 or 8 years ago now, I guess. I can't remember what year it was. And one of the Yorkshire stage came through this area, finished in Sheffield, I think. And they came in on the back roads over the hills, and as part of, well, in the run up to that, they resurfaced a lot of the country roads, even though they get 2 cars a day or whatever. So
they're very well maintained, I have to say. They look pretty great out there.
We have miles and miles of virtually traffic-free minor roads undulating through the countryside around the reservoirs. So
I didn't realise that was why, but yeah, you're right, we do.
So yeah, just generally out and about above the west side of Sheffield on those roads, round Agden and down Flask and above. But they're around here, they're probably my favourite places to run. Anywhere that's, I really enjoy going to new places and getting a map out before I go.
Oh.
And checking out.
It's very organised.
Essentially routes for running.
Yeah.
And then getting there and doing it and seeing what it's actually like.
Do you generally just get recommendations from people as well, and they just say, "Oh, you need to go check out here"?
Occasionally, but often I just do it from the map and just run around and find my own route. That's something I enjoy doing.
Has there been, so you have your favorite routes, your favorite places to run around. What about your favorite competitions? What about your favorite, for example, I love the Round Sheffield Run.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite run I've ever done.
Yeah, so I did that for the first time this weekend actually. Never done it before. That's a great event. Yeah, I love that.
Quite a different format.
Yeah, very, something I've not really done before.
Stop-start sort of thing.
Yeah. Didn't quite get the tactics of that right, but I'll know for next time. My favourite event, that's really tough. I mean, I've got a soft spot for the Perceptive 10K.
I think a lot of people do. It's a fantastic event set up by the Steel City Striders.
There's another little local race called the Uterbridge Gala Chase.
Oh yeah, that was last week.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. That's nice, up into Warncliffe Woods. I've always enjoyed the Sheffield Half Marathon route as well. Those are probably my favourite races, I guess. And the Holymore Side 10K over near Chesterfield where I grew up.
Oh,
that's another one that I've done for the first time this year. I really enjoyed that route as well. Very hilly, country roads, just my kind of thing really.
Do you find it's when you're running, it's more type 1 running or type 2 running, if you understand what the two terms are?
I'm not sure what you mean by type 1 and type 2.
So I was explained this by one of my good friends, Tom Moss, who's an ultra marathon runner.
Yeah.
And he said type 1 is about enjoying the run as you're in it, as opposed to type 2, which is enjoying the achievement of a good run. And most of my runs are type 2, unfortunately, because I think I burned myself out too much.
Yeah.
But you seem more like a type 1 runner, like actually in the moment enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, go back up. Yeah, mostly, I would say that's probably me. Are we going to get enough distance on this? Or
actually, we're just over. We'll be just over, but don't worry, we can carry it.
Sorry.
No, it's been great.
We're going to back up to the churchyard in a second. Probably type 1. I like to, my focus primarily is enjoyment while I'm doing it, and that's usually true even if it's like a tougher session, like a tempo run or even some speed work. I usually enjoy it once I've got going.
Yeah.
With races, particularly shorter races, probably type 2, particularly 5-10Ks, because that's not my forte. And so I always find those a bit tougher.
Because you have to definitely get some serious speed going for those.
Yeah. And I'm finding I'm struggling for the speed now, as much as it's not as easy as it was.
As you get older.
Yeah, exactly. So those are always probably more a type 2 type race.
So we're going to probably be seeing you more in the half marathons and the marathons in future.
Yeah, those are really my future goals. Improve, particularly marathon.
Any ultras on the horizon?
I wouldn't rule it out. That's perhaps when I'm a bit older, maybe my 50s.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of you want to get in their 50s. That's how they go. Although I do know a few younger ones.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely more of a time thing as well. You know, I can't dedicate that amount of time. I don't think at the moment. Marathon's just about manageable.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've made it back.
Here we are.
I want to thank you so much, John, for joining me on this one.
I enjoyed it.
And hope your legs won't be too tired for Loxy Lash tomorrow.
Well, we'll see.
I'm sure you're still going to manage to kill it.
Well, yeah, like I say.
All right.
See how we go.
We're going to sign off from here. Back at Sheffield. This is Jon Cooper, one of our coaches at Hillsborough Rivelin Running Club. I've been James, and this is High Five. Thanks again.
See you later.